The inmates aren't just running the asylum, they've been given the keys to the warden's office. Hey, Canada! It's Earl. I'm looking at the wires coming out of New York and Geneva today, April 11, 2026. And if you needed one more reason to realize that the international community is a ghost story we tell ourselves to feel safe, this is it. On Wednesday, the UN's Economic and Social Council nominated the Islamic Republic of Iran to a committee that shapes global policy on human rights, women's rights, disarmament, and terrorism prevention. Take a moment to process that. We are talking about a regime that, as we speak, is crushing fresh nationwide protests with the same brutality they used back in 2022. In 2025 alone, human rights monitors reported at least 1,500 executions in Iran. That's a human rights record that involves the gallows and the firing squad. This is a government that beats women in the streets for the crime of showing their hair, and yet the UN thinks they are the right people to help define global norms for freedom and equality. This is the primary financier of the axis of resistance. They fund the very groups that destabilize the globe, yet they've been handed a seat to talk about prevention. This isn't just a contradiction, it's a death knell for the credibility of the entire institution. When you elevate a regime that silences journalists, punishes protesters with death, and treats women as second-class citizens, you aren't engaging them. You are validating them. You're sending a message to every dictator on the planet. Keep doing what you're doing. Eventually, we'll give you a gavel and a title. And here's the part that gets me. Why is Canada still at that table? Mark Carney was in Davos earlier this year calling for a coalition of middle powers. He talks about a rules-based order while sitting in a room with China, Cuba, and Iran, all of whom were just elected to influential UN committees this week. If the rules are being written by the people who break them every single day, then the rules are a lie. I've said it before, the UN has reached a new low. It's become a club for tyrants to launder their reputations, while democracies like ours foot the bill and nod along like it's all very sophisticated. At some point, we have to ask a serious question. If this is who gets a seat at the table, what exactly does that table stand for anymore? If the UN can't tell the difference between a protector of rights and a predator of rights, then it's not an organization, it's a facade. It's time for Canada to stop pretending that being at the table matters when the table is hosted by a regime that hangs its own people. It's time to stop funding the theater of the absurd. Thanks for listening. Stay awake.